Everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time you are following. You are highly welcome to class. So today we are going to be solving this full costing problem that we have in front of us. So the problem goes thus. Well, can just take time and read the question. They say AKZ is an enterprise located in Cameroon and which specializes in the manufacture and sale of two products, product P1 and P2, right? So this is the detailed information about the problem. So opening stock has been given to be that purchases, consumption, right? You can just post the video, and then you can screenshot the question or you copy it out. Direct labor, manufacturing as well. Sales has also been given. Other information and the closing stock. Alright, the data on overhead absorption analysis. And they also emphasize that the stock valuation uses what? The weighted average cost of, whatever, the weighted average cost after each receipt or after each entry or exit. So also take note of this because we are going to be applying this weighted average method of stock valuation. Alright, so the work required says prepare the overhead absorption table. Work required to calculate the purchase cost of raw material and so on and so forth. So we are going to jump into the calculation. Into the first thing, we'll start with the preparation of the overhead absorption table. Alright, so to prepare the overhead absorption table, we are going to start. So looking at the table, we notice these are the primary totals. They have all been given, and then power has been given in such a way that power disappears, and power is given 15% to repairs, 20% to stores, 30% to purchases, 40% to this, 10% to this, and 5% to admin. And when you sum all these, whether 15, 20, if you sum all these things, they are going to give you 120. So you are going to be sharing this amount of capital base at the rate of 120. So capital is going to neutralize itself here to 0. And then repairs, after sharing now, if we look keenly, we also notice that repairs and store, repairs, this repairs and this store, so store is giving 10% to repairs, and repairs here is giving 18% to stores. So they are also going to share, and then they will neutralize themselves. So these three guys, they are our auxiliary centers, and at the end, the auxiliary centers, they always tends to a total of 0, and then will they move further. That's why looking at the overhead absorption base, you will see that power, repairs, and store, they don't have any absorption base, but purchases, workshop, distribution, and administration, they are having their absorption basis. So we'll enter. So please take the snapshot of the question so that while we are solving, you will not get lost. Thank you. All right, so we have elements, power, repairs, stores, purchases, distribution, and administration. So the next thing that we are going to have is our power. Since power have completely distributed itself to other elements, our power. So we have single $7,200,000 $7,200,000, and power gives to this guy at the percentage of 4 just paste this here. So power is given to repairs at 15%, and 15% of 7,200,000, we are going to have 900,000. Also, we are going to have 900,000. 20% of that, we have 1,200,000. Next, 1,800,000. Next, 1,000,000. 2,400,000. 600,000. And right, so this is the sharing according to the sharing of the power. So can then erase this back. Also, so we are going to take a total of all this in order to proceed to make our work to be just a first total that we have here. Alright, which is equal to this. Alright. Alright, sorry. So looking at this, you see that this operating system, this XA is recognizing this thing as text, not as values. So either you just go and change them to values or you do what I'm doing now. Right. Then they will give you these totals. And then the next thing is stores and repairs. So with the stores and repairs now, we are going to generate simultaneous equation that we will use in solving them. So please, I will just generate the equations and then give the values. Since I've solved it here, and then you also solve in order to conclude if in case you have it. So our first equation, so we'll let the store, where is it? Let store equals S and repairs equals R. That means capital letters. Right. So if our store is equal to X and our repairs R, it means that we'll have the equation. The first equation that we'll have will be S, which is store, or let me start with the one of R, repairs, will be equal to this total, which is 4,740,000. That's the total for 6,400,000. 6,400,000 plus Y. What is Y? Please, I'm looking at the question this other way. So from the question, you see that the repairs is given 10% to store. So they have plus 10% will be what? 0.1, right? 0.1 R. 0.1 S is given to stores rather. Awesome. Then the next equation will be the one of S. S will be equal to, from here we have 4,740,000, 4,740,000 plus, the guy is also giving 18% to R, which is now 0.18 to R. All right, that's great. This thing too big like this, so all right. So please, these are our two equations. So if you solve these equations simultaneously, so you then number equation 1 and equation 2. If you solve this equation very well, your arrow will be equal to 7 million exactly, and your S will be equal to 6 million. Equal to 6 million. And then we'll be good to go. So from here now, we'll then come back here and continue with our table. Looking at the question. From there now, since we already generated the value for this repairs and the one for store, then we'll move back and continue the sharing. Meaning the repairs we share 18, 25, 35, this. Just take note. Then let's get back to the question. All right. So our repairs. Our repairs will be given to itself 7 million. And then the 7 million is going to be shared. Sharing according to this rate, sharing the 7 million according to 18, 25, this. We are going to be sharing, the figures will be 1,260,000. Let me just automate this thing. 1,260,000, 1,750,000, 2,450,000. Please punch on your calculator to confirm all these values. We have 700,000, and the last thing that we have is 840,000. Alright, let's jump now to the section of stores. Store is given to itself is 6 million. and then giving to this guy 10%, right, which will be 600,000. All right, 1,800,000. 2,100,000. 900,000. 600,000. Let me paint this. All right. Exactly. Okay. Now we then take the totals now to have the secondary totals. From here now, what we are moving to is the secondary totals. All right. Our secondary totals. All right. Will be equal to so we'll be adding everything. So this is the totals that we have. So all these our auxiliary centers, they have turned down to 0, 0, 0. Right. So they have all transformed to 0, 0, 0. So this is what we are left with. Now let's take a look at the overhead absorption base. Absorption base. So here we have they say it is unit of purchase price. Ten kilograms. This I hope you are seeing in your question. 10 kilograms of material consumed, unit of so this. All right. 10 kg of raw materials consumed. And then here we have units of output sold. And then here we have 1,000 francs of sales. Okay. Now we are left now. We'll determine now the number of work unit before now the cost of work unit. So number of work unit, number of work units. From there now we then move to the cost of work unit. All right. So the number of work unit now will move back to the question. I can screw this up. Awesome. So the cost of work unit. So for the workshop, they say 10 kilograms of raw material consumed. Right. Purchases. Please let's start with the purchases. Purchases. We are going to list all the unit from the question. Purchases. Let me just put here, please. Purchases. So these are the purchases that we have here. They say purchases. They say unit price of purchase. What are the unit price? Purchases of raw material. The first one, raw material one, the unit price is 3,800, and the second one, the cost is 4,200, and they say 20 francs of unit purchase price. Sorry, please, it's 20 francs of 20 francs. 20 francs of each of purchase. 20 francs of a unit of a purchase price.
Longest. Longest.
Mono class.
Okay. Katuwa.
Appointment.
Okay. We know.
Alright, I have 20 francs for each unit of purchase. So looking at our question, we see the first unit for raw material one, we have unit price there, we have 3,800 francs, and the raw material two, we have unit price of 4,200 francs. And they say 20 francs of each, meaning we are going to take each unit price and we divide by 20, and then we sum the two. So what we have there, we have 3,800, right? And raw material 2, can you be writing it there? And raw material 2, we have 4,200. 4,200. So to know the the number of work unit for each, we are going to take equal to, you take the value and then you divide by 20. There are 150. You calculate for the second one, 150. This is, please, you take this and you divide by the 20. You can see, even see the formula in my formula bar here. So when we are done now, to know the total, now we just sum them, equal to so the total will give us 360. This was divided by 20. Alright, 360. Please, let's check. This 3,800. I'm sorry, this 3,800. Not 3,000, please. 38 from our question. Alright. So 190 and 210. The sum will give us 400. So the number of work unit for the purchases is 400. Alright, 400. And then the next, the workshop. For workshop now, they say 10 kilograms of raw material consumed. Let's look at the consumption. Let's look for workshop. Alright, so workshop, they say 10 kilograms of raw materials consumed. This is the consumption here. Alright, so I have 10 kilograms of raw. So they say for the production of finished product P1, 1000 kg of raw material 1 on this date, 4,800 of raw material this on this date, that. So please look at, these are all the figures here that we are going to be using. So take a look, pause, note them, and then we proceed. Bam. Right. So for the first raw material, we have 1,000 units. Second, 4,800. Next, we have 6,000. Next, we have 4,200. And then 4,500. Voila. And then they say 10 kilograms of unit of raw material consumed, whatever. So the value there we are going to have here, will be equal to the sum of all these. Please punch. You take this plus this plus this plus this. You press the equal to on your calculator, and then you divide it by, they say how many? 10. We then have 2050. So this is where this 2050 is coming from. So we'll write it there, 2050. Awesome. Next, units of output sold. Which one is this? Okay, distribution. Units of output sold. Right, let's take a look also. Distribution, units of output sold. So if they're talking about units of the output that's sold, we just move to sales section. So this is our sales. Voila. So finished product P, we have 1,500 units and 5,500 units of next finished product P2, this. So please, we are going to take only the units. So let's move back to our worksheet. So distribution, we are going to have 5,500, 500 units, 5,200 units. Right, since they just say units of output sold, they did not attach any number like 10 kilograms or whatsoever. So we are going to use the figure that we have here exactly. So we have equal to, just use boom, we then have 12,700. So put 12,700. Awesome. All right, the last one, they say 100 francs of, sorry, 1,000 francs of sales. Where would the 1,000 francs come from? So how are we going to go about this? So this administration. So we still use our normal unit here. Awesome. So now we'll then move now back to our question and take the unit sales price. This one file was at 17,500 each. This 5,000 unit at 14,000. 500 unit at 11,400. 5,200 unit at 12,825 each, and so on and so forth. So we fill them here. I have 17,500. I have 1,400. 11,400. 12,825. Sorry about that. All right, 12,825. Okay, so from here we are going to multiply them. This times this is the administration, please. So is equal to this times this. Oh, so I have this this times this times this, you put the answer, this times this, you have an answer, this times this, you have an answer. Awesome. All right, so this is the figures that you are going to have. Now if I sum the two, equal to, so this is it. Since they say it's 1000 francs, right, we'll divide by 1000. I hope you guys have grabbed the logic. Divide by 1000. We are going to have 10, 1, 2, 3, 106,340. 106,340. Why am I having some lapses here, please? Okay. Let's see, 2008. So 10, 6, 340. Now the cost of work unit is equal to, listen, cost of work unit is equal to secondary totals divided by number of work units. Secondary totals divided by number of work unit. So we are going to have this 36,000. So we are going to have this. Look, this our says there are some lapses here with this amount. Let me check. The machine is not giving me what I have manually. This times is 12,825. Let me 12,825 at this. All right, please, this is what it's giving me. I don't know what the lapses are coming from. Then we'll just continue. 77 million 1,400 5,500. Sorry, this is rather 14,000. Okay. $14,000. So our figure has instead changed to this. Sorry. So I have 17,000 5640. Awesome. So we transform to 34. So thank you very much. Look at the solution whatsoever, reproduce this same solution and then see how it goes. In case of any challenges, feel free to drop your comment in the comment section. We will pick you up from there. Please, as you are following also, anywhere we are making or we are omitting any value or any digit like what just happened, make sure you alert us so that we should really work together. So this is our cost of work unit, and this marks the end of our overhead absorption table. Alright, so these are our values. So from here now, we'll move to the next part of the question, which says that when you are done with that, don't just go. There is still something. All right. They say calculate the purchase cost of each raw material. Calculate the purchase cost of each raw material. So let's look at our purchases. What are our purchases? So raw material one will have this raw material two will have this, and then we also have the purchase expenses or indirect purchase expenses, right? So that's an overhead, and that one will be estimated based on the what we have in our absorption table, because this table is for the overhead, right? So we'll look at, since there is purchase, the meaning there was an overhead, then we'll then look at how we evaluate it, and then the units that we are going to use. Take note, these are purchases here, meaning it is an overhead for purchases. All right, so let's just continue from here. All right, that's a calculation of purchase cost. Of the calculation of purchase cost. So of raw material 1 and raw material 2. Cannot squeeze these things since we don't need them again. Right. So I have raw material 1. I have raw material 2. 2. So we have the quantity, unit price, amount, quantity, unit price, amount. Right. Of elements. Right. So our first element will be the purchase price. Be the purchase price. Alright, so the quantity for raw material 1. The quantity for raw material 1 on purchases. The quantity for raw material 1. We have 8k at 8,000 kilograms at 3,800 francs. Of 8,000 at 3,800 francs. So the amount here will be simply equal to, you take the quantity times the unit priced. Then we have this O, which is 3 million. You just copy this thing. Of 30,400,000, and then indirect purchase expenses. Now the indirect purchase price now will be equal to what? We are going to have, when we're determining this thing up here, I split it into 2. I did not merge them. So the units are not going to be the 3,800 for this guy. It's rather going to be 190, because on our absorption table it is being specified that the guy uses about 20 kg of the unit, right? 20 kg, meaning the units have been like grouped there or like in batches of 20 unit. That's why we are not using the 3,800 unit. We have compressed it to be 3,800 divided by the 20, and then we have 190. So we are going to rather use bed 190. This is our indirect, so we have a 190 at the unit price. What will be the unit price at this case? So in this case, the unit price will be the unit price that we have as our cost of work unit. So the unit price is going to be 36,000 instead, right? Everything is coming out from this apportionment table. That means if you make a mistake, if you make a mistake at this level, that means any other thing that you are going to be doing down is going to be giving you wrong stuff. So I have 3,000, 36,000 rather. So I have 36. I have 36,000. Alright, this time this will give you this. Okay, the next thing will be the total or the actual purchase cost. What we are looking for this guy. So the units here will remain our 8,000 units. We are not going to take this plus this, please take note. And then here we have the total, which will be the sum of those two. Sum it, please. You have 37,240,000. Then the unit purchase price here now will be what? You take this, right? This divided by this. You have an answer. And then let's move now to the next guy, raw material 2. With the raw material 2 purchases, we have 10,000 kilograms at 4,200 francs each. So I have 10,000 at 4,200 francs each. So the total here will be equal to this times this, 42 million, right? Then indirect now, let's go up. So with the indirect, well, since this guy is 4,200 unit, right? So we take the 4,200 and we divide by the 20 as well. When we divide by 20, we are going to have 210 units, and the 210 units, which will still be evaluated at 36,000. Awesome. At 36,000. So please, I will just copy this formula and put here. Punch with your calculator. Then here I have equal to the sum, which will be 49. This our total, our quantity is not going to change, please. Don't say that this 210 will be added. This 210 is indirect, meaning there are those units that they are fictitious. So here I can just copy this formula here and paste here. Right. So this how our purchase cost can be calculated. All right. So thank you very much. You can have a small break, and then we'll move again now to the next part of the question. All right. All right. We says thus. They say we should calculate the cost of production of byproduct after and before the supplementary treatment. After and before the supplementary treatment. Okay. Let's see how it goes. So looking at the question, we'll notice that we'll just be a bit fast. Sorry. byproduct after before supplementary treatment. All right. So looking at our say, they say the cost of each byproduct is 16,000 francs, and we have how many byproducts are there? 500 units of byproduct. Okay, so let's continue. All right. Okay. So sales of byproduct. Let's put out the sales. All right. Sales of byproduct of how many units are there? We have 500 units of byproduct, and then what's the price per unit? 16,000. Right. So which will be equal to the product of this and this. All right. I don't need tables in this thing here. All right. These are normal grid lines. They're enough. Okay. So we have 500 units at 16K, which will give us that. Let's squeeze it so far apart. All right. So then they say the production cost. Let's determine the production cost after the supplementary treatment. The production after the supplementary treatment will be, we take our total sales of the byproduct, which is 800 m, which is 8 m, sorry, which is 8 million, and then we'll multiply it by the percentage to know after. So we take this times, sorry, times, what's the rate? The rate was given in the question to be, they say profit and distribution of byproduct M, or byproduct M, worth 37% of the total sales value. So here, since this what was being distributed, right, the profit and the distribution of byproduct M worth 35% of the sales value. That's the profit. So what is left now, the supplementary treatment after, is the percentage that was not distributed, which will be times 100 minus 100% minus 37.5. 37.5. So this is it. So we are going to have the answer here, equal to So I have to copy this. What is this? Oh. Right. So this answer we have 500. So this answer now we have not converted, so we have to divide by 100. So we have 5 million. Now the cost of the supplementary treatment. Next part now is cost. They say before and after, right? So the cost before now will be equal to, we just take production of production cost after and minus the minus the supplementary expenses, please. So which we are going to have 5 million. We are going to have 5 million minus 200,000. So rather, it's minus 2 million. Is it INS? Minus 2 million, which is equal to, okay, go to this minus this, which is going to be 3 million. All right, let me post. Oh, yo. So please, this is where the 2 million is coming from. Sorry that we didn't just, yeah. They said the byproduct undergoes supplementary treatment before it says on expenses amounted to 2 million. So this is where the 2 million is coming from. So in our calculation, I will subtract 5 million minus the 2 million. We have this, right? So as I say that the formula is rather the production cost after supplementary expenses minus the supplementary expenses. Thank you very much. All right, let's move to the next part. This next part, please kindly draw, like put all your focus, take away all the distraction. If in case distractions were already coming in to overcome, you just do away with them. So these are the answer for this. The next part we says the calculation of, oh, right, calculate the cost of production of each finished product. Calculate the cost of production of each finished product. Please, I'm going to determine. So here we have to do the inventory valuation. So I will do the one for raw material 1, and then you people will do the one for raw material 2. So I will use the one for raw material 1 now, before now, and determine the production cost for the first finished product. Are we together? And then you people will do it for the next. When you are done now, you can then drop your comment that you are done, and then we'll see how we will move to the next part of the question. Thank you. So you can see the question is very bulky. One can just talk and go and just disappear. All right. Okay. So let's get back to our sheet. So calculation of the calculation of production cost. Alright, calculation of production cost for finished product P1. Right, we'll start with a stock valuation. So please, we are doing for raw material M1, and then if we do for raw material M2. Let's take a look at the question again. So since the main finished product that we have is P1 and T2, and they were prepared using raw material M1 and M2, so that's what we are doing here actually. So the stock valuation of raw material M1, the first date that we have is on the opening stock. So this is on the 1st of December. The 1st of December, we have 3K units at this price. And the next is any to have consumption, and consumption is on the 3rd of December. They consume how many units? 1000 units, right? Please take note, 1000 units. And then the next is on the 4th of December. What happened? There was, let me see, on the 4th of December, there was purchase. 4th of December. 4th of December, they purchased 8,000 kilograms. It was opening stock. That consumption 1000. Then here on the 4th, they make a purchase of 8,000 kilograms, right? And then again on the 9th, there was consumption again of raw material M1. There was consumption of raw material M1 on the 9th, how many? 6,000 kilograms. And then after on the 9th, now we also have consumption again on the 18th. Raw material M1 on the 18th, they consume 4,200, right? And then next, raw material M1, right? That is all about the raw materials. That's all about the raw material M1, the consumption for raw material M1. So please, I want to do only for one, but it's like we do for both. Even though we'll not be able to determine the production cost for all the goods. Alright. So please, since you have seen what is happening, let me get back to my sheet. So raw material M1. So elements, we do have change. We do for both, please. Stock valuation for both. Alright, I have elements. Quantity, UP, amount. Right, element. Quantity. Of amount. Okay. All right. Right, let's take the first raw material M1. this. Right, raw material M1 and raw material M2. Okay, let's move. So I have here the initial stock. uh Initial stock. This initial stock is on the 1st of December. On the 1st of December, we have it there, 3,000, right, at 5,100. And remember, they are using the weighted average cost of capital metal. So I have, sorry, I've forgotten again, 3,000 at 5,100. I have 3,000 at 5,100. So the amount here we have equal to this times this, which will have 50,300,000, right? And then the next thing that comes after, please make sure that you respect the where the dates are coming. The next thing is consumption. I'll be abbreviating, please. Consumption. And this consumption take place on the 3rd. Is it, please? These purchases were made on the 4th. Meanwhile, they have already consumed 1,000 units. Please, on the 3rd, take note. So this on the 3rd of December. They consume 1,000 units. So the consumption was equally made at 5,100. Alright, so I will draw a line here. I will roll a line to differentiate the stuffs. I have this. So you have equal to this, take away this. Consumption we subtract, purchases we add. Awesome. Alright, we have that. So to know the unit price here now, we have equal to, we take this divided by this, right? Awesome, we have 5,100. It still stands still. So this is what we have in stock. Well, we have in stock. So we're having in stock. Alright, the next thing that is on the 4th now, they make those purchases. On the 4th, they make purchases of 8,038. So our purchases went like that on the 8th of December. Our purchases of, is it the 8th, please? On the 4th, insert. On the 4th, they make purchases of 8,000. They make purchases of 8,000. Now, what would be now the unit price of these purchases? The unit price of these purchases is not going to be this 3,800 because we have already determined our purchase cost. So we are going to use the unit purchase price that we have in our absorption table. So we'll come back. Our absorption table was something. Sorry, the purchase cost, we have already determined the purchase cost, sorry. So this is it. We have 4,000. The purchase cost, the unit purchase cost is 4,000, this, right? Which will take 4,655 instead. So this is it. We are picking from the calculation of our purchase cost. 4,000. So this is here. So 4,000, what is it again? 655 equal to this times this. All right. So when we make purchases, our inventory has increased, right? So we'll add consumption, we subtract. So have equal to so I have 10,000 units. So this one is rather equal to this divided by this. The price will change as well. So this is what we have in stock. The thing seems to be consuming a lot of time in stock. All right, after that, the next thing was consumption on the 9th. Consumption, and it took place on the 9th. This is it. Consumption on the 9th, 4,800 units for raw material M1. 4,800 kg. So I have consumption again. On the 9th of December, 4,800 units. At 4744. Multiply, you still have this, then subtract as usual. So this is equal to this, take away this, equal to this, take away this. Of 5,200 units at this price. So what will be the unit price here? Since this guy is the same, is automatically going to be the same. So I equal to this divided by this of 4,744. Right, was there any other consumption again for this month? Let's check. On the 18 again, raw material one, consumption of 4,200 units of raw material one on the 18. Okay, so on the 18 consumption again, on the 18 of number 12 month, consumption of 4,200. So we consume at the same price, 4,744. All right, we have this consumption with subtract as usual, minus this. Of equal to this divided by this. Bam. All right, so we are done with the evaluation of with the valuation of raw material 1. All right, So please, I will quickly do for raw material too. So I'll be as fast as possible. Raw material too. The first one I have the initial stock. The initial stock, which is on the first of 2,000 at 5,400, which will give us an amount of equal to this of 10,800,000. The next was purchases, which took place on the 8th. What do you need? 10,000. So the purchases now will pick it from the absorption table, which is 4,956. $4,956. So please let me just confirm from the purchase cost 4,956, yeah, 4,956, which is equal to this. Of that, from there, let's see how much is in stock. In stock, equal to this. Okay, please make sure you are summing. Awesome. The next was consumption. Consumption on the 11th. Consumption on the 11th. How many units? Of 6,000. Consume at 530. Of that. The next, what's of consumption again? Can just merge the two, please. Okay. Since everything is 530, consumption. This one took place on the 21st. So I have 4,500 units. So it's still at 530, no matter what you do here. 5030, 5,030 rather. 5,030 equal to also so equal to this. Right. So this is the evaluation table for both raw material 1 and raw material 2. So from here now it's very easy now for us to determine the production cost. So this is the final stop of this guy. Sorry, final stock. And then the final stock for this other one. This is what we have. Final stock. All right, let's look at now how we can determine the cost of the production cost for each of the finished products. Okay, let's start with finished product P1. Finished product P1. So let's start with P1. Finished product P1. So we draw a table as usual. Element, quantity, UP, amount. So in order to determine the production cost, we start with consumption, direct labor, other indirect expenses, right? And then we list the other elements that apply it. Okay. So we have consumption. Consumption. Alright, please. So with the consumption, we have several categories. We have consumption on the third. This is it. We have 1,000 units, they were consumed at 5,100. Just copy this. 1,000 units at 1,500. Right. The next, we also have on the 9, there was consumption. So the purpose of this evaluation is for us to know the actual unit price that we'll be using. You get it right? So this finished product P1, right? So on the 9, there was also what? Consumption too. They consume it. This is it. They consume 4,800 at this. Now you see this price that we are going to use in order to determine. So this is the purpose of all this. So I have that. And then also have on the 11th. On the 11th, the consumption for finished product P1. Please take note. Get back to the question, you see it. That's why I wanted to do the evaluation only for one raw material, and then I noticed that both of the two raw materials they were used in order to produce both of the both products. So that's why. So I have on the 11. Please just take a look at the question again. You're gonna see the this it explain everything. Okay. So I have this. All right. So the next thing that we have, let's look at the question and see it for ourselves. So we have direct labor. The question says finished product P1 uses 800 hours of direct labor at what price? At 3,000 francs each. So we have direct labor at how many units? We have 800 units at 3,000 francs each. So we multiply, right, to have our unit price as usual. So I have 2,400,000. Alright. The other thing, production. So since we are dealing with production here, let's look at it. Of finished product P1. Let's look at what the question says again. We have indirect workshop expense or indirect production overhead. Indirect expenses, right, are based on production. So we are going to our apportionment table and we are going to pick it from there. So we'll take a look. Since of in preparation of this, we'll not go back to the question, please. The question is very lengthy. So for the workshop, the 10,000, this and this, right? It gives us for the finished product P1, and then this other one is for this finished product P2. I have 1048, 1048. What is the manufacturing? Right. Looking at the consumption, we have 1000, we have 48 raw material one. This is this just for finished product P1. So we are going to take the 1000 units plus 4800 units plus this 6k is already for raw material too, plus so 1000 plus 4800 plus 6000 plus 6000 of raw material. This just for product P1, and then for P2 I have 42 and 4500 kilograms only. So when you take 1000 plus 4800 plus 6000, we are going to have 11800. We are going to have 11800. So it's 11800. So this will rather be 11800, and then we divide it by 10, right? That's what the apportionment table, that's what it does there. So we have equal to 11800 divided by 10. So I have 1180. What would be the unit price? Please, we just go back to the apportionment table and copy it from there. What's the amount for workshop? Workshop. So this is the figure. Just copy and use it down here. Seventy-seven, 7,704.88. 7,704.88. 7,704.88. So we have equal to this times this. Alright, I have this other value. Then the next one, they also say that, let's see it together. I was looking for, so it says that the manufacturer of the finished product P1 entices a byproduct M, and that of finished product P2 entices a recoverable scrap. So for the production of finished product P2, we are going to use the recoverable scrap, but for finished product P1, we are going to use the byproduct. So let's get back to the question. So the next thing is we have, so it entices this, right, the recoverable the byproduct. So we are going to have the supplementary expenses before production, and then we calculated that, right, and it was what? So we are going to deduct it instead in this case, which is 3 million. Which is 3 million. And then also have, they also say something about work in progress. Finished product P1 in process. Alright, so the finished product P1 in process that we have is 1,350,000. So we add to the cost. So our work in progress of 1,350,000 50,800. And then the last thing now is forward. Then what would be now the actual cost of production now? So we are going to sum all these, please. Equal to so when we sum this, what we are going to have 67,893,700, and this, please, this is the summation of all this. It gives us this, and then what is now the quantity here? What was our quantity here? Our production. So I have 6,000, right? Here will be equal to this divided by this, and then we are good to go. This now the cost of production of finished product P1 all together. The cost of production of finished product P1. Right, finished product P1. Then for finished product P2, well, 5,000 units. So please, we just follow the same procedure. Follow the same procedure and determine the production cost of finished product P2. And from there, feel free to chat me up with any issue that you encounter. So that you might encounter. So thank you very much for following. We'll meet again next time. God bless you all. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share if needs be. See you at the top.